Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, as it should, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. It is always a blessing. We got some things we got to talk about. There's some breaking news that happened last night, and then some breaking news that happened today, that just a little bit ago, and we're going to get into this real talk, okay? So I appreciate all y'all for being here, coming in and being a part of the conversation, because, of course, let me just say this. I get it. You know, all these lawsuits, it's kind of like this, you know, it's like the same thing after another, after another, after another. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's old. At this point, it's like, oh, another lawsuit. Pfft, okay, moving on. You know what I mean? I get it. But we still have to stay on this, finding out about everything, because I feel like all of this has something to do with what's coming for him in the very near future. Whether or not, I think this is also important to say this too. If all these fall, if all of these never see the inside of a courtroom because of lack of evidence, because let's just say they're all falsities and all that stuff, I truly believe that that is a huge piece of information, and that is a big deal. So we are covering them, as many as we can, whenever they do drop, and if I'm drops. But any chance I get I'm in the area, or you know, in my office, and it's going down, we gonna talk about it, okay? Because it is a big deal, and like I said, it could be huge for what's going to happen in May, okay? When he goes and sees the inside of a courtroom, fighting for his life, literally fighting for his life with these federal charges. And some of these could be added in to the federal charges, the new federal charges that he's looking at here very, very soon. So I just need to say that really quick, because I know a lot of people are like, meh, another one. You know what I mean? And now we should just be used to this, like breathing air. But at the same time, I feel like these are very important and could be something huge in the very, very near future. Okay, getting that out of my system. So do me a favor. We got to do all this stuff, okay? Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it, okay? Hit that reaction button as well. All right, if you're watching on these other platforms, that would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you're watching on the TikTok, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching, you know what I mean? If you're watching on any of these things, make sure you are following. Subscribe if you're on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well. All right, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed, because there's things I'm talking about over there that I'm not talking about over here, and vice versa. So make sure you're checking those things out, okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We have some really great stuff over there, guys. PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. You'll find something I'm sure you're going to love, okay? But anyway, guys, we got to get straight into this. Like I said, it's not going to be the longest show, longest one ever, because let's be real. We've already heard, it's like, one lawsuit, it echoes kind of the same way, but all of them are tailored a little bit differently, okay? They're all the same type of situation, but they're all tailored a little bit differently, okay? And once again, we have another lawsuit, actually two that dropped, one last night and one this morning. And what we're going to get into first is not on the title right now. We're going to talk about the first one that happened last night, that dropped last night. Now, I did talk about this on my secondary channel late last night when it dropped. I was quick to hop on and give you guys a quick breakdown, a quick summary of what went down. Like I said, make sure you are subscribed to both channels. The secondary channel is called The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed, because like I said, there's some even quick ones like this, just quick updates that I'm just giving you guys. Bing, bang, boom. You know what I mean? And then some videos are a little bit longer than just 5-6 minutes. But nonetheless, I am doing kind of quick bites over there, quick videos over there, so that you guys can hear what's going on. And yeah, Bella Rose, I agree. There are so many, even I lost count. And I'm keeping an eye on all these lawsuits, but they are absolutely insane and they are out here and they continue to grow. It's been insane. And again, you got to remember Tony Busby, because both of these lawsuits are coming from Tony Busby. Both of these lawsuits are part of the 120 that he's saying that are coming from his team, from his law firm. So I don't know what number we're at, but he needs to pick up the pace because it's there's a lot that needs to get filed before, I'm sure, before a specific deadline, right? But I digress. We've got to get into this, okay? And of course, we have two new lawsuits. Obviously, you see the title above you or down below, wherever you're watching this show right here. You know that we have one of them for sure, okay, where he is being alleged of holding somebody against their will. And that is the main topic that we are talking about. But I do want to share with y'all this one that we covered last night on my secondary channel. But I wanted to give you guys a quick brush stroke, okay, of a broad stroke. I'm sorry, a broad stroke of this new filing that dropped last night. Now, last night's lawsuit states that he forced someone to drink something that was laced with some sort of substance at a nightclub, okay, in November of 2016. All right. In LA, she's out there. This Jane Doe is out there and meets Diddy. Diddy slides over a drink to her and basically says, "Hey, you drink this." She literally says, "Take that ish." So he literally said, "Mr. Take that," literally said, "Take that," allegedly to one of his victims. Real talk. Okay. So she says, forced her to drink this laced substance drink, okay, before she was actually attacked. So let's take a look at this really quick, okay? Because like I said, some of y'all are savvy to this news and some of y'all are not. And then we're going to go to the main topic, okay, to the most recent one that just dropped maybe an hour ago, maybe less than an hour ago, maybe minutes ago, okay? Because I saw it and I was like, let's go live. We're going to do it live, right? So Diddy forced a woman to consume, let me try that again. Diddy forced a woman to consume a drink and then SA'd her in a Los Angeles nightclub, telling her to take that ish, at least according to a new lawsuit, all right? The Bad Boys Records founder, Diddy, of course, I hate when they do that ish, but anyway, Diddy, okay, is being sued by a Jane Doe for what she claims he SA'd her in November of 2016 at a club called Club Playhouse in Los Angeles. All right. According to the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, the woman claims Diddy approached her in the club and then offered her a drink. And when she initially refused, he told her, "B word, I'm not asking you. Drink that ish and shut the F up." The woman claims she downed the drink because she was scared, or Diddy scared the crap out of her with the way he forcefully slid the drink towards her. So she said, "Okay, I'm going to drink this." All right. She was scared. She says after consuming the drink, Diddy placed his right arm around her in a side hug, and then he shoved his hand up her skirt, using his hands down below the belt. Okay? Got to use these code words. Or, got to talk around this stuff, which is annoying. But during the alleged attack, the woman even claims Diddy told her, "B word, I do what I want. Take that ish." She claims his entourage was laughing nearby while he attacked her, which is absolutely insane. Okay? In the docs, the woman says she was ultimately able to escape from Diddy, and then she left the club and hailed a ride back to her hotel room or back to her hotel, where she says she felt so disoriented she needed help getting back to her room. She claims she woke the next morning and was horrified to find, you know, markings on her body and around below the belt, if you get what I'm saying, which she believes is from Diddy's alleged attack. So, and his legal team now has spoken out, okay? But last night when I read this, okay, and reported this on the secondary channel, there was no response from his legal team at that time. Now they have responded. They say no matter how many lawsuits are filed, especially by individuals who refuse to put their own names behind their claims, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never SA'd or ST'd anyone, man, woman, adult, or minor. Now, again, that's a little bit of a new one. That's a new kind of tailored, still rubber stamp response that they usually give out, but it's rephrased a little bit differently. But I think it's also trash that they sit there and say they're not willing to step forward and you know, they're just hiding behind a Jane Doe name. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's why the Jane Does and the John Does pseudonym option exists. It's to protect these particular victims, these alleged victims, okay? And witnesses as well. That's the reason why that exists. So it's trash to me that they would sit there and say that, because here's the thing. It could very well be real. This could all be lies. She could be making this up just so she can secure a bag. For sure. This Jane Doe can very well be doing that. For sure. But at the same time, it could also be true. And some of these people have not been wanting to step forward because they were scared, terrified of this man. He is a very wealthy, very powerful guy. Clearly a very dangerous dude as well. So yeah, I don't blame any person for hiding behind a pseudonym. That's why they have that shield up. That shield exists to protect witnesses and to also victims as well. So is that an admission of a lie because of hiding behind a John Doe or Jane Doe pseudonym? Hell no. It's there for a reason. It exists for a reason, especially when you have somebody as powerful as Diddy, and he's willing to pay a pretty penny to make certain people disappear, right? So moving on, they continue. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth. And Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail in court. All right. So the woman is being represented by Tony Busby, like we talked about last night on the second channel. All right. And she, of course, is also one of 120 clients that Busby is representing in a multitude of civil lawsuits. Okay. A multitude of different lawsuits. Now, here's the thing. I just hope, and I've been saying this since NBC interviewed that Jane Doe that said that there was inconsistencies in her story about Jay-Z and Diddy. So I'm going to say it again now. I've been saying it like a broken record, and I'm going to say it again. I truly hope that Tony Busby has a vetting process to cut through the BS, because you know for a fact, I'm sorry, guys, you know I believe that Diddy has done some very, very bad things, and yes, justice is coming for him, and he's going to get what is rightfully coming to him. Real talk. I think he's done some very, very bad things. I think the feds have got some serious ish on him. Now, when we talk about civilly, there are some moments where I have there's a little bit of hesitation. The reason why I have the hesitation is because there's so many that have come out. And that interview on NBC does tarnish a tiny bit my feelings on all the Jane Does and John Does, even the ones that are stepping forward with their names out here. There is a little bit of hesitation. I'm not side-eyeing. It's not like a hard or soft side-eye. It's just more hesitation, meaning I'm hoping, or that being said, I'm hoping that Tony Busby has a vetting process that is absolutely pristine. It's ironclad because you are coming out with all these allegations and just throwing these lawsuits out there towards a very, let's be real, a very wealthy man. But how do you know that these victims are actually telling 110% the truth? I'm not sitting here saying that they're not. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe in these victims, but there's 120. We all have to take a step back and just kind of have a bit of hesitation. Now, this story, this case could very well be real. All of them, all 120 could very well be real. Let's not forget that too. This is the reason why I'm wondering, is Tony Busby really and his team using a proper, pristine, ironclad vetting system to make sure that these individuals are actually 110% with them and what they're putting on paper on legal documents, making sure those things are 100% as well. Like I said, not sitting here saying that I don't believe the victims, but because they're coming out in a tidal wave type of fashion, it does make you wonder how much and or what is his process? What is the Busby law firm's process to make sure that they're going, no, I don't believe this one, so I'm not representing that one. No, that's BS. I'm not. Okay, that one's real. She has evidence. She has hard evidence. Here it is. Documents, medical records, so on and so forth. I'm representing this. You see what I'm saying? 120 is a lot. Okay? 120 is a lot. And they could very well be real. All of them. Every single last one of them. I just want to know if he has a vetting process that is foolproof, right? Because that Jane Doe going on that NBC interview was not a good look for the Busby team. It was not. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe that Jane Doe. In fact, I sit there and say, let's see what else they got. I'm going to sit back and see what the judge decides because it's questionable, right? But after that interview, I go, wow, well, how much of this is 100%? How much of it? Or is he just throwing a whole bunch on the wall, throwing a whole bunch of ish on a wall and see what sticks? And that's not the right way of doing it either. He could be looking at some serious charges and some serious lawsuits for him too, if he doesn't properly vet every single last one of these alleged victims that he's filing for and representing. Because at the end of the day, if all of them fall, or if even 5 of them fall, okay, as proving being false, he's looking at a potential serious litany of lawsuits or a massive lawsuit from Diddy himself. And then, of course, God forbid if the courts get involved. I'm just saying, okay? Like I said, it's just something. It's just something that I question, okay? Doesn't mean that I don't believe. I'm just curious as to what his vetting process is because 120 is a lot. Tipsy Gypsy, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the super chat. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Yes, happy Valentine's Day to every single one of you too. Gosh, I forgot to say that. Sorry, I got so focused on just getting straight into the meat and potatoes that I forgot. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, okay? February 14th, okay? Happy Valentine's Day. If you don't know what that is, you need to go check out Outcast. That's all I'm going to say. Outcast. Just go check them out. All right. If you don't know about them, then wow, I am sorry. Okay. But thank you so much. And yes, everyone, to you too. And of course, to you and yours. Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Okay. But so, of course, that is something for sure. Okay, Jasmine, thank you so much for being a member for the past 4 months. Happy Valentine's Day to you and your family as well. Like I said, happy Valentine's to everybody. Thank you so much for the happy Valentine's Day wish. Do you guys celebrate? Okay. Did you guys celebrate Valentine's Day? Is that a thing? I don't really. I mean, like I kind of do, but kind of don't. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I mean, it's like the day that we're supposed to honor love when we should be honoring love every single day. Ain't that the whole thing? You know what I'm saying? Oh, remember love today. Really? Aren't we supposed to be remembering love every day, dag nabbit? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Message. This is when you have like a little Wayne's brother baby coming out, goes saying, message. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm just saying. Like, remember love. But go buy a Hallmark card. Give us your monies. I mean, remember love. That's what we're saying. Let's celebrate love. Don't forget love exists today, but love exists every day. Okay? Love exists every day. The reason why you guys are on this planet, at least a good portion of us, is because of love. Get it? If you don't understand, when a man loves a woman, okay, and a woman loves a man, and they 9 months later, wah, wah, you know what I mean? And then you're raised by that same thing that we're celebrating today, that we should be celebrating every single day, right? Because you are on this planet, for most of us that were lucky enough to have parents that loved us, okay? Because some have different upbringings, okay? And, my heart goes out to you guys. But for most of us, we were, raised by love, right? And then you find somebody that you love, and then you do the same thing. And then 9 months later, you know what I mean? But that's every day, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's every day, bro. That's every day. It's not just one day. It's every day. Christmas is one day, but Christmas, there should be a day, you know what I mean? Every day should be a day of giving, right? Giving and receiving and all that, right? But, see, this is me just, turning the show into something completely different that it doesn't even need to be. But you know what I mean, all right? Love exists every day. It's not just suddenly we find out. Sorry, you got me weak, big girl. You're killing me, all right? But, we should be acknowledging love and giving love every day, right? But like I said, just saying. Hold on, real quick. Yeah, and then 9 months later comes divorce. You're savage, girl. That is savage. It's supposed to be a day of love every day. A day of love every day. Every day should be Valentine's Day. That's all I'm saying. Okay, but I digress. We got to get into this. Okay, we got a little bit more. All right. Yes, and every day should be a day of an opportunity to do the hibbity dibbity consensually. Okay. But it should be love every day. Okay. Just saying. But happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Okay. Every day to everybody. Okay. So we heard this piece. I'm very interested to see what kind of evidence that this Jane Doe has, or what Tony Busby's team was able to get and bring out for this particular lawsuit. But then just a little bit ago, now we have a new one. But this one's a tiny bit different. She is saying, this Jane Doe, okay, this woman claims that Diddy plied her with substances and then held her against her will. This is a new one. We are hearing the same thing. He gave her some sort of substance and all that. But this time, she's held against her will. This one's very interesting. So let's take a look at this one as well. So the latest Diddy lawsuit, which dropped this morning, okay, comes from a model who claims he plied her with substances and offered her a safe place to rest, but then held her against her will and then SA'd her for hours. The lawsuit, filed anonymously, claims Diddy, this is anonymously, by the way, claims Diddy and the woman met at a VIP party in 1999, which he was hosting in New York City. The first part of her allegation fits the bill of dozens of other lawsuits, which we have heard a million times before, where she claims he handed her a drink during an event and she felt extreme drowsiness and could barely stand. So he gave her this drink at this party. And then while she's at this particular event, she's just feeling really woozy and drowsy, could barely stand at the event. Okay. And I'm wondering if there's any eyewitnesses that saw this. Again, this was in 1999. So I am kind of curious as to who was there in 1999 that could actually corroborate her story, could back her actual story. I'm curious, right? But moving on, however, what allegedly happened next is slightly different. The plaintiff claims she told him she needed to leave because she was feeling woozy, and Diddy suggested she sleep at his house, and he assured her nothing would happen. She says she also told him she was married and did not want to hook up with him. So instantly he's like, yeah, you can come over to my spot. It's a safe spot. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you, girl. And she's like, well, I got a man, just so you know. I just need a place to lay down. I am not trying to go over there to do anything of any kind, anything wrong or bad. I'm not cheating on my husband. I am married. That's what she said to him, allegedly. Okay. And that she did not want to hook up with him. I mean, have you seen his teeth? Have you seen them? Okay. Moving on, like the donkey in Shrek. Anyway, moving on. Once back at his place, she got into a bed with her clothes on, but he allegedly became quote unquote aggressive with unwanted physical advances. In the suit filed by attorney Tony Busby, back at it again. Like I said, this is two of them, and he said there was going to be 10 being dropped within the next 7 to 10 days, as he said. So there may be another lawsuit dropped today, later on today. So get ready for it, okay? But this was also filed by Tony Busby and his team. She says this went on for the next 4 hours. Continuous unwanting grabbing of her personal areas, okay, her private areas, and of course, using his fingers in places that, of course, were not even wanted, okay? Throughout the alleged attack, she says she repeatedly told him no and desperately tried to fend off the advances. Once the substances wore off, she claims she angrily demanded Diddy call her a cab, and she left his place. She's suing, Diddy and several of his companies, seeking damages for physical injuries and psychological harm he allegedly caused her. Now, his team has come out and said some things, okay? They fired back, saying no matter how many lawsuits are filed, especially by individuals who refuse to put their names behind their claims, the same effing response that they had for the other lawsuit that dropped yesterday, they're saying it again all over again, guys. All over again, which is you're hiding behind a name instead of standing out in with your name out here to the public. Okay, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never SA'd or ST'd anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail in court. So again, another one and another response, and this is again a rubber stamp response. At first I was surprised that it was a response that was a little different, right? The beginning of it, at least, was different, but it's just tailored. It's just a tailored rubber stamp response like he has been using all this time. So my question is this. We got to look at this a little bit. So she met him at a VIP party, right? Met him at a VIP party. It's the first line that you see up there, right there. And I know you guys can't see it on the TikTok, but we're over here on YouTube. You can go over there and check it out. All right. But here it is. She says that she met him at a VIP party that he was hosting in New York City. Then he hands her a drink. She starts feeling drowsy. She's a model. She's at this party. She's hanging out with Diddy and all of his people. This VIP event. He hands her a drink. She starts feeling woozy. And then he says, then she says, or I'm assuming she says something to him basically along the lines of like, I'm not feeling well. I need to get the hell out of here, right? So she says, yeah, she told him she needed to leave because she was feeling woozy and suggested that she sleep at his house. So Diddy suggested that she sleep at his house. Now, whether or not she lived in New York or if she flew in for the specific event and then went to the VIP party afterwards, something about this just doesn't make any bloody sense. Does it to you? Now, again, if this is how it went down, this is how it went down. And maybe the substances that were in her body were making her more agreeable than any other kind of substance. Because if you really think about it, whether she lived in New York or she flew in for this event, right? Why would she say, I need to get out of here? He says, come to my home. And she goes, okay, I will. That's one thing that doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't she just say, take me back to my hotel room? Or I need to go and take a cab to my hotel room. I'm just asking the questions. Okay. And any person, like I said, I'm not trying to attack and say that she's not telling the truth. I'm just saying, I feel like the defense would sit there and say the same damn thing. Wait a second. You just said whether you lived in New York or not, right? And yeah, Ken, you ain't wrong. She could be so incoherent that happens. But here's the thing. That's the part. Hold on. I'm keeping your comment up here for a second for a very good reason. She takes the drink, feels drowsy, turns to him, says, I got to get out of here. I'm not feeling very well, right? Whether she lived in New York or not, okay? He says, oh, yeah, you can come over to my house. You can come and just stay at my house. She says, the next thing she says, if she was this incoherent, then with her agreeing to say, yep, I'll go over to your house, Diddy, even though my hotel is right around the corner. Let's just say it's only a few streets down. She still, if she's incoherent, how's she coherent enough to tell him, I need to also tell you that I'm married and I'm not going to mess around with you because I'm married, man. I have a man. What's your man got to do with me? I got a man. So if she said, I got a man, I'm just saying, I'm just asking the question. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe her. I'm just wondering, instantly the defense is going to ask that question. Instantly. Okay? That part doesn't make sense to me at all. Respectfully, it just doesn't make sense. If she was so incoherent, if she's so incoherent, then she wouldn't say, oh, I got a man. She would just be like, okay. And then she would just go to the house. But she says, I told him I was married and I did not want to hook up with him. Let's move on to the next. Once they got back to the place, she got into the bed with her clothes on and he allegedly went and got aggressive and put his hands on her. Okay. And this happened for hours and hours. For 4 hours, he was continuously putting his hands on her, SAing her and all that. Okay. So again, I am kind of curious about it. All right. Like I said, I'm not going after the victim or anything of that sort. And then, of course, let's not forget that. But let me finish my sentence. I'm not trying to go after the victim saying I don't believe her. I'm just saying there may be some holes here that make you wonder, could she be telling 100% of the truth? Also, are there other people that were at the party that could corroborate and back her story as well? They're at the VIP party. You're telling me she's the only one who drank a drink that was laced? I'm just curious. Could it be a situation where she really did end up hooking up with Diddy, but the whole thing was consensual? And then now she's saying it wasn't? I'm just asking the questions. But nonetheless, we already know that has a history of doing some really, really bad things. Okay. And again, when you see all this, it does make you wonder what really happened here. Again, she was a model, she was at this event, whether she was flown in or if she lived down the street. Why would she agree to go over to Diddy's home? And I'm not sitting here saying that none of that happened or she should have done better. It's kind of like that whole thing, like somebody who gets SA'd or attacked viciously for wearing a short skirt. I'm not trying to go after that in that angle either. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go down that route. All I'm saying is that this part, there are questions that will be asked, and those kind of questions I just asked just now, they'll probably be much more vicious than me. It's the same thing as the woman who was at the club that we just talked about. Okay, there are going to be questions about that. People are going to be asking questions. See, that's the thing. When that woman, that Jane Doe, went up and did that NBC interview, that hurt Tony Busby. Because even myself, when something like that, I go, like I said, there's hesitation. I'm curious. I have questions, right? Especially, the information that we're hearing is like, okay, how much evidence do you have on this? I'm just curious. Like I said, and I feel like it's a question that everyone, every independent thinking person, okay, every independent person is going to ask these questions, right? Every independent critical thinker is going to ask these questions. Now, you guys can disagree with me all day long, and that's totally fine. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe the victim. I'm just asking the questions. And these are the exact same questions that they're most likely going to be asked or talked or, attacked with when they actually see the inside of a courtroom or even before they actually see the inside of a courtroom. Let's be real. So anything's possible, but I am kind of curious about this, about what your thoughts are on it and all that. But nonetheless, it's another one. And let me tell you, Diddy going down. Diddy is the diddler. I believe that 100%. The question is, are all of these telling 110% the truth? That's the question I leave up to you guys. Like I said, ask the questions for yourself. But like I said, we got to ask the questions because there are going to be a few that are not going to be telling the truth. I'm not sitting here saying that this one's not telling the truth. I'm not saying that any of them that we've read so far are lying. But like I said, we got to ask those questions. And sometimes it's questions we don't like to ask, that we don't want to ask. But unfortunately, this is the world that we live in right now. Let me grab some of your comments here really quick. Tammy says there's so much shady ish with him. Who knows? Who knows? I think a lot of these stories are going to pop up and then the courts are going to have a hard time deciding the right way because there's so many. I think that I think that the courts are going to be very, very decisive. I think they're going to be very, very picky on who they want to I think they're going to be very decisive. And the reason why I say that is because of how many of these lawsuits are coming. And I think that they're all going to be thinking, I think the courts are, or these judges are going to be doing the same thing. They're thinking the exact same way. They're asking the same questions, I'm sure, if not more complicated questions, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a guy. But I feel like they're going to be sifting through a lot of this, right? I think they're going to sift through a lot of the BS, whatever those lawsuits are that are actually BS. I think that they're going to be sifting through those, trying to figure out who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. But I think a lot of these lawsuits are going to get dropped because of lack of evidence. That's what I truly believe. That's what I truly believe, that they're going to be dropping a lot of these lawsuits because of lack of evidence. Now, here's the thing. Lack of evidence does not mean that the crime did not occur. Let me repeat that again. Dropping the lawsuit does not automatically mean, because of lack of evidence, does not mean that that actual crime did not occur. It's just the fact that they don't have enough to back up their story or their claims, which in the court of public opinion, especially now, especially with this Diddy situation, right? That's going to look very bad. Optically, in the court of public opinion, that's going to confuse a lot of people out here. Even the people who are sitting there going, bury him under the ground. Bury him under the prison. All those people, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be sitting there going, well, wait a second. If that one ain't true, then, or that one didn't make it to court, does it mean that all 100, the rest of the 119 lawsuits are fake? That's what's going to happen. It's already happening with the Jane Doe that went on NBC. She did the whole thing on NBC, and what happened? Now everybody, even myself, has a bit of hesitation when it comes to these lawsuits, because it's like, wait a second, bruh. What is your vetting process? Truly, what is your vetting process? Do you have everything to prove that these 120, do you have everything? Do you have everything? Because you know for a fact 1 or 2, 20, 119 of these lawsuits could potentially drop and never see the inside of a courtroom because of lack of proof. And that is a massive part of this whole thing. Unless Diddy was to sit there and go, yeah, I did it. I'm a man, though. I'm only a man, and I found God. I found sobriety. I found therapy. Regardless, he's not going to do that. He's not going to admit to any of his wrongdoing. So they have to have the hard evidence. They have to have the proof. And if they don't have the proof, that lawsuit could drop. And then in the court of public opinion, like I just said a second ago, everyone's going to have the gut reaction of, oh, man, so she lied. Or that John Doe lied. So does that mean that these other people could be lying too? Like I said, it's just a domino effect. And we don't want that. We want all of them, all of these claims to be ironclad, foolproof, and ready for lawsuits, ready for court, so that they can take him down and that they can get their financial justice that they're seeing, that they're seeking. That's the thing. But of course, it all depends on what happens here, right? On what the court and what these judges decide, right? It all has to go down with the evidence and the proof. And when it comes to this model who's claiming, and the other woman, this anonymous woman and this Jane Doe that said, at the club, right, that got attacked at this club, it does make you wonder, are there witnesses? Is there surveillance footage? Did they go to the doctor? Did they go to the hospital and get tested? Was these substances still in their system? Did they file some sort of police report? Anything of that sort that would help back their claims. Those things I think are very, very important as well. Right? But, again, even so, at the end of this, she said this, with the model, she said, once the substances in her system wore off, she claimed she angrily demanded Diddy to call her a cab. Okay. So again, it's 1999 when this whole thing happened. Not everybody at that time had a cell phone. People still had landlines, right? Some people had both at the same time. If you had money, you had the cell phone and you had the landline. Okay. So I could see her not running around with a cell phone and being like, yeah, I need to, let me call a cab. So I get that part of her going like, yo, you call me a cab. Okay. And I'm out of here. Right. But I am kind of curious as to, I'm like I said, the series of events, I'm not sitting here saying that they don't make sense. Okay. It could have very well have happened, but I'm wanting to know if she has anything else to back up her claims, and if the Busby team has done what they needed to do to make sure that they got this whole thing stitched up, and that this particular case and all 120 of their cases are a home run. Because like I said, we want these victims justice, right? We want these victims to win. I'm just hoping that they got everything lined up so they can knock this monster down. But we'll see. We will definitely see soon enough. But that is the show, guys. I appreciate all y'all. Okay? Appreciate all y'all for being here. Means a lot. We're keeping an eye on this whole Diddy watch. Trust me, there's a whole lot more coming. Oh, trust and believe. There's a whole lot more coming. And when it does go down, we'll talk about it. I have a feeling I have a feeling in my bones, and I could be wrong, but I do have a feeling that there's going to be another lawsuit dropped today before everything goes down, before the weekend gets started. But we'll find out here soon enough, okay? But I appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. Hit that like button down below, all right? Crush that subscribe button. Hit that follow button if you're watching on other platforms. That would be greatly appreciated, all right? Thank you so much for being here, okay? And, of course, don't forget to hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals if you want to support the channel. And of course, do not forget to check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out. Trust and believe. I guarantee you're going to find something you're going to absolutely love over there. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. There's a bunch of other stuff that we are going to be talking about here very, very soon. So make sure that notification bell is set to all, okay? Because I go on random nowadays. So please be sure to do so. All right? Hit that bell. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.